Today we're going to be reacting to SaaS websites. We're going to try to keep this light and airy. We found some on Product Hunt. I'll try not to be too severe with any feedback. It would be good for us to go through and have something for us to learn from. Now, in case you didn't know, we run a web design agency, so we're always looking for new tools, and this was actually one that we'd found. And again, just from an honesty point of view, I found all of these sites, all of these SaaS sites looking through Product Hunt. So these guys is a bug tool. It's like a SaaS product for web development agencies to make use of. So let's have a quick look. So reimagining bug reporting. It's not the most exciting opening title. It doesn't really sell me. It doesn't give me any major benefits. But it's there. It looks fairly nice. Things like this featured on Product Hunt and a number of ups is really useful. So that does add some credibility. And there's something over here. This doesn't do anything. It's just an animation. But yeah, overall feels quite nice. From an add to Chrome, the call to actions are fairly clear, which is good. It feels a little bit busy, especially with this bar at the top, but we'll figure that out as we go. Okay, as we go down, we've then got these options here. So recording screen, create markup, developer logs, rewind. What I would say is an image personally doesn't feel like enough for me to know exactly what this feature is going to do. I guess screen recording is kind of okay. It's showing a current tab and then that. Create markup is fairly clear, but I have no idea what this rewind tool will do. It's just highlighting that there's a toggle. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So it might be beneficial for us to have some proper explainer, especially that this is the first thing we're going to have the user to see. Like in theory, this is one of the most important aspects from a hierarchy point of view that they've decided to put really high up the page. It's not 100% clear what it is. A couple of things that I haven't noticed is there's a nice kind of featured 4.8 credibility, which is nice, and then a trusted by with some logos, although I don't recognize any of them. And you've got a nice little testimonial here, which as well. So lots of credibility building as we go. There you go. So as we get down here, it says rewind the last 2 minutes of all browsing activities at any time. So it's strange that we've got this exact same basically information and screenshots as we do here, but this explains in way more detail. I kind of feel like this should be the thing that's above. There's no need for us to repeat the same thing twice. So I feel like that could be, and this is probably a better version. It's a little bit weird that this is further down the page from a hierarchy point of view. Better Books has trimmed down that. That's quite nice. Designed for everyone. Again, so from the agenda's point of view, this does make sense. It would be interesting to see who's the person that's going to be signing up for this in the first place. Also, not all of these imagery. Some of these imagery feel fairly real. Some of them, like this one, Founders, feels fake. Probably have a little think about that. That probably needs overall improvement. Flow of the site feels okay. It's a little bit linear in its style, but that's fine. You are safe with those. So there's a little bit about data encryption. These are actually, I think there's some confusion around what this is doing. Like I feel like these should be clickable and they should give me more information, but nothing is particularly clickable. Other than reporting your first big, and then we're gonna go to the App Store. So it's okay. It's not brilliant. I feel like there's definitely things that could be nicer. Screen recording then goes in. So these are okay. Again, a little bit repetitive. Everything's a little tight, I would say, as well. We need a little bit more padding between all of this to give the design a little bit of room to breathe. Everything feels overly tight. Obviously, very repetitive with this back and forth as well. And we don't really, I feel like we should probably break up the design a little bit just with the occasional asking for someone to kind of sign up. Have they seen enough? You might even be reporting your first bug, which is key. On the homepage, they bothered to explain that there's potentially different people using this. So do I need to just trial that, or do I need to forward this on to my boss? Or, I might not be the dev who's going to do this. So there might need to be some thought into how this is done. Even just this gets started for free, obviously looks quite nice when I highlight over it, and it draws way more attention, especially if I get rid of this option. But that should really be highlighted from a color theory point of view. We want that to stand out to start with. It's also interesting that they obviously allow you to schedule a call with the founder, which I guess is quite cool. I wonder how much time they're spending, kind of wasting almost on those calls when the whole thing is free in the first place. So it'd be interesting to see if the conversion rate is better when we just get the user to add it for free. So those would be my initial thoughts on that one anyway. Not gonna lie, I really like the look and feel of this one. Again, this is a SaaS product from a business perspective, probably something that I would look at, which is kind of why I clicked it in the first place. But your goals visualized and achieved effortlessly, I think, is a really nice opening line. And then we're explaining what it is. From a color theory point of view, it's very clear that we want the user to click on this, try it for free now. And then we're putting the credibility builder right next to this. That's actually taken from e-commerce, where they have the call to action and they want credibility building next to it. It's a really nice way of increasing conversion rates normally. And then right in the top, they've got a screenshot, and then you've got a little video. Pause, but at least there's an explainer. He's running through how it works. It's nice that you get to see the person. It feels pretty good. And this is what I was also referencing on the previous video about just a little bit of room for everything to breathe. It feels a little bit better overall. It's nice that there's clearly individual people that are trying to do this for, although it's kind of weird that I click on these and nothing changes. I presume that they are meant to. I would imagine, or what should probably happen if I was them, is if I've hit game dev, then these 4 options change to be very benefits driven about how games developers can use this. If I clicked on this one, it should be changing for me to highlight how these 4 things work really, really well for business. I'm guessing that all of them have been tagged with that, which feels a little bit weird. Load more adds more in. Does that change anything? Not particularly. These are quite nice. Again, just with a little bit of color in here. And again, probably a nice idea, actually, that if we had all the color on show to begin with, it would probably feel quite jarring. Whereas instead, they've used the color to highlight it. The image slightly tilts even. Adds a little bit of, I guess, overall just design feel to it. Feels really nice. So yeah, overall quite impressed with this overall one. Again, bit of room to breathe on everything, which is quite nice. There's an argument of, does this need to be this large? But I guess it purposely fills my entire page, which again is by design. So they've really thought this through, that when you get onto the pricing area, it takes up the entire vertical fold. So we're not getting distracted by anything else. Very reasonable in its price as well. So probably feels like something that someone would click on. The only thing which feels a little bit strange, I don't know what happened there, is there's already an icon of me clicking on the button, which feels very weird. Almost like someone's not built that out. It feels like that element, yeah, it is. It's just one big thing. So it almost feels like the person who's designed it has said, hey, this should be a button. And then the person that's built it hasn't realized that. Probably a weird thing to, even just from a confusion of me thinking it's my cursor. Now, I usually have a bright green cursor or a teal cursor. But not everyone will. So I wonder if there's a little bit of confusion around that, because I think these are also highlighting the colours that they'd like them to go. So that might need fixing. These are quite nice, more than 100,000. Probably needs to be a comma in there. That looks a little bit weird without that comma. But these are quite nice, right? These are kind of classic things, kind of showing them where they've come from, that they are kind of genuine, and where they've sorted from. And then get to the bottom, try it for free, which is quite nice as well. So yeah, overall, nice overall feel to it. Feels easy to work around. I think it does a fairly good job of explaining what the system does. There's definitely some bugs, I think, in this, where certain things open and other ones don't. That needs a little bit of work. But overall, a lot easier to digest this information compared to that last one we look at. And that isn't a knock on dark mode by any stretch of imagination. In fact, I love dark mode. Our own website is in dark mode anyway, but it's just something for us to take into account. Okay, Spark-based. Again, number 1 product of the day, which is kind of why I chose it. Carabook's high intent sales calls. So B2B SaaS. Obviously, this is AI generated image, but that would make sense because the whole thing's an AI sales agent. But again, I think we're doing a fairly nice job of, we've got lots of credibility builders around the thing that we want the user to fill in, which works quite nicely. So it's nice that we've got the email that comes in here. We've got the credibility builders around it. We've got a nice bit of contrast. This gets started. And we're trying to personalize an AI tool at the end of the day by saying we're calling it Cara. We're calling it Cara. We're not just calling it Spark Base, which is on here. We're trying to humanize it a little bit. And then there's a video here, which is nice, kind of shows it, kind of running through everything. So again, really nice from that point of view. We've got these kind of star systems, and then we've also got these down here. So there's lots of lovely credibility building as we go. And they've also allowed a little bit of room for everything to breathe. Again, kind of the white mode allows that to stand out. Not that there's an issue with dark mode. Your sales pipeline in seconds. I feel like this image could be working harder. Not necessarily sure what this is trying to tell me, although it looks nice. But I guess this is meant to be showing me like a Kanban board about how everything can move back and forth, I'm guessing. A little bit hard for me to know. And these are quite nice. These just constant little reviews that are appearing all the way through. And I think from a testimonial point of view, it's really nice. There's a couple of things that they're highlighting here. They're humanizing it with a person, full name, their job title, and the company if we want to have a quick look at them. So someone like me who can go, I wonder if that's a real company, can copy and paste this in and have a quick look at that company. And also it's nice to go like, I wonder if this sounds great, but would it work for my industry? So actually I can look through all these testimonials, I can copy and paste them and just check. So yeah, these are quite nice. Again, I feel like these could potentially be animated or at least showing a little bit more. The overall credibility building feels pretty good as we're going. There's quite a lot of text as we're going through, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. And it's nice that we're referencing, Google Map data, multi-source data, web search, real-time insights from LinkedIn, and then showing how Cara sits in the middle. I'm now using her name, so there you go. Cara sits in the middle, and we're referencing them. Not quite as nice as one of the other ones that we've seen, but overall feels pretty good. The whole thing feels very narrow is my only other points that I would make. I do wonder why we've restricted this so much. I am aware I'm on quite a large monitor, so maybe it's just that. But overall, it feels a little bit tight. And it's quite nice as well that you can get straight to the Slack community. I've not really seen that on a SaaS product before. So it's nice that option is there to get people involved, for them to run through. That's a really nice little feature. So yeah, overall, pretty nice. Again, we're keeping this very B2B SaaS based here. But I've found guide, kind of like the idea of it and kind of wanted to show it off. So magically create stunning training materials with AI. You've got this kind of image on the right hand side, or that's kind of like a little video that's kind of showing through, and everything's around installing this free extension. Now, I guess for someone like me, they'd be like, well, I'm not quite ready to do that yet. I need to learn a little bit more about it. So let's carry on down. Again, credibility building, 60,000 users, 100 plus reviews, 5 out of 5 from there, number one product of the day. So lots of credibility building. Again, loads of credibility building here, which is great, trusted by users, teams of all sizes, explain the most complex, and are then running through this. This is quite nice, dead easy for them to follow, capture your flow, start capturing, dive into the magic. I feel like this language could be slightly improved, but overall it feels pretty good. I feel like this is probably the key thing that for me needs to be right at the top of the page, because I was just thinking, like, as I'm reading this, I just need to see how this works. I just need to see a video. So I've got to get quite far down the page for me to get to this. So I might be tempted to almost have a little play button next to this get free extension, play button here, or have the play button on top of this or to the side of it so that I can start to see it. And if I want to see more in detail, I can then play over the top of it. I just feel like, why have all of this additional when really this is probably going to be my main sales tool? That I won't go into huge. That's annoying. So I click it once, which gets rid of the initial thumbnail, and I then have to click it.
Hi.
Oh,
Guide lets you create video
skip
documentation across any capture
I guess
tool.
there's pluses
Let's see how it's
and
done.
that forces me to watch it.
So here I am.
To watch it,
I'm going to
probably
start
once. I would probably want to check that to see if that's the best way of doing it. But yeah. It looks like they're probably using YouTube's API system as well, but simple things like just removing the thumbnail, removing that, so I'm just focused on this middle bit, removing the watch later and the share and stuff probably makes sense. Credibility building as we're going down, which is quite nice, and then just a big call to action, which feels a little bit random. But yeah, overall quite nice. I think from a design perspective, everything, again, I'm on a large monitor, so it might just be a large part of this where the spacing feels a little bit unusual. And this can sometimes be the problem when you have these large kind of these options where it rotates around, where some of them are really long and some of them are really short. There's no way you're going to make this look perfect for all size text and all size screens. And then therefore it does look really weird when you've got the SOPs on there and you've got this big gap. So probably just some decisions that were made on there that need to be thought about. Other thing is the way this is overall designed at the top of the page feels like it should go off the side of the page, but it doesn't. It kind of ends, so you just have this white mark. So that probably needs some tidying up. And then again, probably a little bit of padding around these, and these could probably go slightly wider just because it feels very narrow, whereas the rest of the page has been a little bit wider. These overall titles with the editor are too close in. So the word editor or the pencil next to editor is right on the left of that small border, so it needs slightly moving over and a little bit of movement around these. But you do have these assets over the top, which is quite nice how that dev's done them. But those need tidying up. They look a little bit messy. The overall padding is a little bit too close as well. You've then got quite a large amount of padding here, which actually I like padding. I like a little bit of space, let everything breathe. But when everything's so narrow in between it, it feels a little bit strange. When you get down to this kind of just about takes up the entire fold, and then this feels overly large and a little bit of waste of space. I feel like we could have additional credibility building around this again if we wanted to, and then we get down to the bottom of the page. So that is going to be it, guys. I hope that gives you a little bit of a reaction to some things. I think what's hopefully nice about these is that the designs are all quite different. I tried not to focus on just the overall aesthetics of them, but overall reasons why things are being done the way they are that should increase conversion rates. Hopefully that's useful. See you next week.